Awareness is the starting point of all transformation. If you cannot see, you cannot change. If you do not know where you are, you cannot know where to go. Most people live like sleepwalkers, moving through life without questioning, without observing, without truly being present. They wake up, follow the same routine, repeat the same patterns, and then wonder why their life never changes. They think change is about luck, about waiting for a miracle, about someone else coming to rescue them. But the truth is, the first miracle begins the moment you open your eyes, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. To be aware means to wake up to the reality of your life, to wake up to the fact that your actions, your habits, your decisions have created the life you are living today. And that realization can be uncomfortable, even painful, because when you wake up, you can no longer blame others. You can no longer say, it's because of my past, or it's because of my parents, or it's because of bad luck. No. When you wake up, you realize the power and the responsibility is in your hands. And that responsibility is heavy, but it is also liberating, because if you created your current reality, you can create a new one. Why do I say awareness creates opportunity? Because opportunity is everywhere, but only the aware can see it. Imagine walking through a forest full of fruits, but your eyes are closed. You are starving, you are thirsty, but the fruits are hanging in abundance. They are right there. Yet you pass them by because you cannot see. This is how most people live their lives. They complain there are no opportunities, no chances, no hope. But the truth is, opportunities are everywhere. They are conversations, they are ideas, they are people, they are skills waiting to be learned. Yet if you are blind, you will miss them. And blindness is not about the eyes. It is about the mind. You can have perfect vision and still be blind to the possibilities in front of you. You can look at a problem and see only pain, while someone else looks at the same problem and sees a chance to grow, a chance to create, a chance to become stronger. The difference is awareness. Awareness is the lens through which you see the world. If your lens is dirty with negativity, with excuses, with fear, you will only see limitations. If your lens is clear with awareness, you will see openings where others see walls. But awareness is not automatic. It requires effort. It requires slowing down and observing. It requires questioning your habits, your beliefs, your environment. Most people are too busy to be aware. They are always in a rush, rushing to work, rushing home, rushing to escape reality through distractions, rushing to the weekend, rushing through life. And when you are always rushing, you never stop to notice. You never stop to ask, why am I doing this? Is this serving me? Is this leading me to the life I want? You just keep running like a hamster on a wheel, moving but going nowhere. Awareness demands presence. It demands that you pause and look at yourself with honesty. And honesty can be uncomfortable because it reveals truths you have been avoiding. It shows you the patterns that keep you stuck. It shows you the toxic relationships you keep tolerating. It shows you the excuses you keep repeating. It shows you that the reason you are not where you want to be is not because of fate, but because of the choices you make every single day. But here is the beauty of awareness. The moment you see, you can never unsee. The moment you become aware of a bad habit, it loses its power over you. The moment you become aware of a toxic pattern, you can break it. The moment you become aware of an opportunity, you can seize it. Awareness opens the door that ignorance kept locked. And behind that door is possibility. Now I ask you, what are you aware of right now? Are you aware of the way you start your mornings? Do you wake up and immediately feed your mind with negativity, scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to others, drowning in distractions? Or do you wake up with intention, with gratitude, with focus? Awareness begins with the small things because the small things create the big picture of your life. Look at your habits. Every action you take is a seed. Some seeds grow into flowers, some into weeds. The question is, which seeds are you planting daily? Are you aware that every time you procrastinate, you are watering the weed of regret? Are you aware that every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are watering the flower of progress? These are choices, not accidents. But if you are not aware, you will live as if life is happening to you, instead of realizing life is responding to you. Awareness also means paying attention to the people around you. Who are you spending time with? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they adding energy to your life or draining it? Most people allow their environment to shape them unconsciously. They spend time with complainers and then wonder why they complain. They spend time with people who settle for mediocrity and then wonder why they feel stuck. Awareness means you stop living on autopilot. You start asking, do these relationships align with my values? Do they support my growth? Because if they don't, and you keep ignoring that truth, do not be surprised when your life mirrors theirs. But the highest level of awareness is awareness of self. Not just your habits or your surroundings, but your inner world. What thoughts dominate your mind? What beliefs are you carrying? What stories are you telling yourself? Many people fail not because they lack skill or resources, but because they are unaware of the limiting beliefs that run their life like a silent program. Beliefs like, I'm not good enough, it's too late for me, people like me don't succeed. These beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies because you act according to what you believe. Awareness breaks this cycle. When you become aware of a limiting belief, you can challenge it. You can replace it with a new story, a new truth. And that new truth can unlock a future you never thought possible. But here is what you must understand. Awareness without action is nothing. Knowing you need to change does not change anything. Seeing an opportunity does not mean you will seize it. Awareness is the first step, but action is the next. And action requires courage, because once you are aware, you no longer have the excuse of ignorance. You cannot say, I didn't know. You know, the question is, what will you do with what you know? Will you act, or will you stay the same and pretend you never saw? If you are hearing this before the 30th of August, take this as your signal. This is not just another day. This is not just another message. This is life tapping you on the shoulder and saying, wake up, not tomorrow. Now, become aware of what needs to change. Become aware of the opportunities around you. Become aware of the power within you. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Perfect timing is an illusion. The only perfect time is now. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'll start when things calm down. And where has that gotten you? The truth is, life will never calm down. There will always be challenges, always be problems, always be excuses. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you will wait until your last breath. The perfect moment is not something you find, it is something you create. And it begins with awareness. So here is my challenge to you. Before the 30th of August, take 1 hour and sit with yourself in silence. No phone, no distractions, no noise. Just you and your thoughts. Ask yourself the hard questions. What am I doing that is keeping me stuck? What habits do I need to break? What beliefs do I need to change? What opportunities have I been ignoring? Write them down. Do not lie to yourself. Do not sugarcoat. Be brutally honest. Because honesty is the foundation of awareness, and awareness is the foundation of change. And then act. Do not just think. Do not just plan. Take one step immediately. Call the person you need to call. Send the email you have been avoiding. Sign up for the course you have been delaying. Start the workout you have been postponing. Whatever it is, do it now. Because every day you delay, the window of opportunity closes a little more. And one day, it will be gone. Awareness creates opportunity. but only for those who are awake enough to see it and brave enough to act on it. So wake up, look around, look within, and realize this truth. Everything you need to change your life is already here. The question is, will you see it before it's too late? Most people hear the word discipline and immediately think of restriction, punishment, or something unpleasant. They think discipline means giving up freedom, giving up comfort, giving up fun. But the truth is the complete opposite. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. Without discipline, you are a prisoner, not of someone else, but of your own impulses, your own habits, your own weaknesses. Without discipline, you are a slave to instant gratification, to distractions, to the easy path that leads nowhere. Think about it. A person without discipline wakes up when they feel like it, eats whatever they feel like eating, works only when they feel motivated, and gives in to every impulse that comes their way. On the surface, that looks like freedom, doesn't it? Doing what you want, whenever you want. But look deeper. What does that life create? It creates chaos. It creates poor health, weak character, broken commitments, unfulfilled dreams. It creates a life where you react to circumstances instead of creating circumstances. It creates a life where you are constantly behind, constantly struggling, constantly wishing you had started earlier, wishing you had been stronger. Is that freedom? No, that is slavery disguised as freedom. True freedom means you control your life, not your impulses. It means you choose your actions based on your values, not your moods. And that control, that mastery, only comes through discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Discipline is making decisions today that your future self will thank you for. And let me tell you, if you want to live a life of purpose, a life of power, a life of peace, you cannot escape discipline. But why do so many people avoid it? Because discipline is uncomfortable. It asks you to do the hard thing when the easy thing is tempting. It asks you to wake up early when the bed feels warm. It asks you to eat clean when junk food calls your name. It asks you to focus when distractions surround you. It asks you to sacrifice comfort for growth. And the human mind loves comfort. It loves familiarity. It loves the path of least resistance. That is why discipline feels like pain at first. But here's the secret: the pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Every day, life offers you two pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You cannot avoid pain. The question is, which pain will you choose? The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Because regret does not leave. It follows you. It whispers in your ear when you look in the mirror. It screams at you when you see someone living the life you could have lived. It burns when you realize you had the chance and you let it slip. Do not choose that pain. Now let me show you why discipline creates freedom. Imagine you are undisciplined with money. You spend everything you earn. You live paycheck to paycheck. When an emergency comes, you panic. When an opportunity comes, you cannot seize it because you are broke. You feel trapped. That is not freedom. Now imagine you practice discipline with money. You save a portion of every income. You invest wisely. You control your desires instead of letting them control you. What happens? You build a financial cushion. You have options. You can take risks. You can walk away from a toxic job because you have reserves. You can travel, explore, help others, create experiences. That is freedom, and it comes from discipline. The same is true for your health. An undisciplined person eats whatever they want, skips exercise, sleeps irregularly. At first, it feels like freedom. I can eat what I want, I can stay up all night. But what happens over time? Weight gain, low energy, disease, doctor visits, pills, pain. That is not freedom, that is prison. Now imagine a disciplined person. They eat with awareness. They exercise regularly. They rest properly. They say no to harmful habits. At first, it feels like effort. But what happens over time? They feel strong, they feel energized, they move freely, they live longer. They can play with their children, travel the world, enjoy life fully. That is freedom. And it was purchased with the currency of discipline. The same principle applies to your mind. If you let your mind consume anything, negative news, gossip, toxic entertainment, you think you are free. I can watch whatever I want. I can scroll endlessly. But over time your mind becomes cluttered, anxious, weak. You cannot focus. You cannot think deeply. You cannot create. You are addicted to noise. That is not freedom, that is slavery. But if you discipline your mind, if you feed it with positive information, if you meditate, if you practice focus, at first, it feels boring, it feels hard. But what happens over time, you become calm, you become clear, you become strong. You can choose what to think instead of being dragged by every random thought. That is freedom, and it only comes through discipline. Do you see the pattern? Discipline is hard at first, but easy later. Lack of discipline is easy at first, but hard later. Discipline asks you to pay now and play later. Lack of discipline lets you play now, but you pay for the rest of your life. The choice is always yours. But most people choose the easy now, and then they spend years paying for that decision. Do not make that mistake. Here's the truth, you will never feel like it. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect mood. Stop waiting for the day you wake up excited to do the hard thing. That day will never come. Motivation is a guest, discipline is a resident. Motivation comes and goes, discipline stays. Motivation is a spark, discipline is the fire that keeps burning. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will never be consistent. But if you act because you are disciplined, you will win every time, no matter how you feel. And discipline is not something you are born with. It is a skill. It is like a muscle. You build it by using it. Start small. Do one thing every day that requires effort. Make your bed in the morning, even when you don't feel like it. Exercise for 10 minutes, even when you don't feel like it. Read for 10 minutes, even when you don't feel like it. Each time you do, you send a message to yourself, I am in control. Not my feelings, not my impulses, me. And every time you keep that promise to yourself, you strengthen that muscle. You become stronger. You become freer. Some people say, but discipline feels like restriction. Yes, in the beginning. Just like learning to walk feels awkward to a baby. Just like lifting weights feels heavy at first. But eventually, it becomes natural. Eventually, you start to love it. Because you see the results. You feel the power. You taste the freedom. There is nothing restrictive about being healthy, being financially stable, being mentally strong. That is true freedom. And freedom tastes sweeter when you have earned it. If you are listening to this before the 30th of August, take this as a challenge. Look at one area of your life where you lack discipline. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your habits. Maybe it's your emotions. Choose one and commit to discipline for the next 30 days. No excuses. No negotiation. Just commitment. And watch what happens. Because when you practice discipline in one area, it spills into others. You start to see yourself differently. You start to believe in your own strength. You start to realize that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of them. Discipline is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is the highest form of self-love. Because when you are disciplined, you are telling yourself, I deserve better. I deserve health. I deserve success. I deserve peace. And you are willing to do what it takes to get there. That is love. That is freedom. So the next time your mind says, I don't feel like it, answer, that's why I must. Because the gap between who you are and who you want to be is filled with the bricks of discipline. Lay one brick today, lay another tomorrow, and soon you will stand on a foundation so strong that nothing can shake you. That is the life discipline builds. That is the freedom discipline brings. And that is the life you deserve. Pressure. Most people hate it. Most people run from it. Most people believe that pressure is something bad, something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. They associate pressure with stress, with pain, with struggle. And so, whenever life applies pressure, they collapse. They complain. They look for escape routes. They say, why me? Why now? Why this? But what if I told you that pressure is not your enemy? What if I told you that pressure is your greatest ally in the pursuit of greatness? Look at nature. Look at what happens under pressure. Coal under pressure becomes a diamond. Carbon under pressure becomes one of the most precious and strongest materials on Earth. Without pressure, there is no transformation. Without pressure, there is no brilliance. Without pressure, there is no strength. And the same is true for you. The moments when life feels heavy, the moments when the deadlines close in, the moments when you feel like you cannot take it anymore. Those moments are the furnace where your greatness is being forged. But here's the problem: most people misinterpret pressure. They see it as a signal to stop, when in fact, it is a signal to grow. They see it as a curse, when in reality, it is a gift. Pressure exists to stretch you, to expand you, to reveal what you are truly capable of. If life never applied pressure, you would never move. You would never change. You would never discover the depth of your own strength. You would stay in your comfort zone, weak, soft, and untested. Pressure is life's way of saying, you are ready for more. Because life never applies pressure where there is no potential. Diamonds are made from coal because coal has the capacity to become something greater. And when life applies pressure on you, it is because you have the capacity to become something greater too. The weight you feel on your shoulders is not meant to crush you. It is meant to carve you. It is shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. The truth is, pressure is unavoidable. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, pressure will find you. The question is not whether you will face pressure. The question is how you will respond to it. Will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? Will you let it define you, or will you use it to refine you? That decision will determine the trajectory of your life. When you look at the most successful people in the world, the strongest leaders, the most resilient human beings, do you think they became that way by avoiding pressure? No. They became that way because they faced it, embraced it, and grew through it. They understood that pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. Every challenge they faced was preparing them for the next level. Every difficulty was sharpening their character, their discipline, their resilience. Every storm was teaching them how to stand strong when others fall. Pressure reveals who you really are. Anyone can smile when things are easy. Anyone can stay calm when everything goes their way. But when pressure comes, when deadlines are tight, when bills are due, when life throws chaos at you, then your true character is exposed. Do you panic or do you persevere? Do you complain or do you create? Do you run or do you rise? Pressure exposes weakness, but it also builds strength if you let it. But how do you let it? You start by changing your perspective. Stop seeing pressure as something that is happening to you, and start seeing it as something that is happening for you. Pressure is the resistance that builds your muscle. If you go to the gym and lift weights, you are applying pressure to your muscles. That pressure tears the fibers so they can rebuild stronger. Without that resistance, there is no growth. The same principle applies to life. Every time you feel pressure, remind yourself, this is resistance, and resistance equals growth. Now let's talk about something important. Why do so many people crack under pressure? It's because they resist it instead of accepting it. They fight reality instead of flowing with it. They waste energy complaining instead of using that energy to adapt. When pressure comes, most people focus on the problem instead of the solution. They magnify the weight instead of strengthening their shoulders. And because their perspective is wrong, they suffer more than they need to. Here's the truth: the pressure you feel right now is temporary. It will not last forever. But the strength you gain from enduring it will last for a lifetime. The skills you develop under pressure, the patience you cultivate, the creativity you discover, those will stay with you long after the pressure is gone, and they will prepare you for even greater challenges and opportunities ahead. Think about this: the most significant breakthroughs in history happened under pressure. Great inventions were born under the pressure of necessity. Great leaders rose under the pressure of crisis. Great ideas emerged under the pressure of urgency. Pressure forces you to think differently, to act decisively, to innovate, to dig deep. Without pressure, you would never push past your limits. You would never discover how resourceful you really are. Some of you listening to this right now feel like the pressure is too much. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your own expectations. You feel like you are being crushed. You feel like you are drowning. Let me tell you something: you are not being crushed, you are being compressed. And compression creates strength. Compression creates density. Compression creates value. You are in the process of becoming a diamond. Do not quit in the middle of the process. Do not walk away just because it hurts. Pain is part of the transformation. Discomfort is part of the growth. You cannot have a breakthrough without pressure. You cannot reach your highest potential by living at your lowest level of challenge. The path of least resistance leads to the land of least reward. If you keep avoiding pressure, you will live a life of mediocrity. And mediocrity might feel safe, but it will never feel fulfilling. Greatness requires pressure, and pressure requires perspective. So the next time you feel like the walls are closing in, the next time life puts weight on your shoulders, the next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and breathe. Say to yourself, this is making me stronger. This is making me wiser. This is making me better. Because it is. Every second you endure, every problem you solve, every challenge you overcome adds a layer to your strength. And remember this: pressure doesn't last, but neither does opportunity. If you avoid pressure now, you miss the opportunity it brings. Because behind every pressure is a door. Behind that door is growth, success, fulfillment. But the key to that door is your ability to endure, to adapt, to push through. When you run from pressure, you run from your destiny. When you face it, you open the door to a life most people only dream about. If you are hearing this before the 30th of August, take this as a sign. This is your moment to embrace the pressure, not escape it. Whatever challenge you are facing right now, see it for what it really is: an opportunity disguised as difficulty. Do not waste energy wishing it away. Use that energy to rise above it. Because the truth is, the pressure you feel today will one day become the strength you admire in yourself. The fire you feel now will one day become the light that guides others. The struggle you endure now will one day become the story that inspires the world. So do not fear pressure. Welcome it. Do not hate the weight. Carry it with pride. Because every ounce of pressure is proof that life believes in you, that life sees potential in you, that life is preparing you for something bigger. And when you come out on the other side, when you look back, you will not curse the pressure. You will thank it. Because it will have turned you into something unbreakable.